Hi, welcome back to my channel. If you like what you see here, please subscribe, like, and give me some comments down below to get this conversation started. In this video, I want to talk about, is a vegan diet healthy for pregnancy, and is a vegan diet healthy for your baby? I, of course, was vegan while pregnant, while trying to conceive, and also I am vegan while nursing and having a vegan baby. So I feel like I have a lot to say on this topic, and it is something that I feel like a lot of expectant mothers may be concerned about. So I'm gonna try and put some of those fears to ease and just give you a little bit of information to arm yourself with if this is the choice that you are going after while being pregnant and raising your children. And of course, disclaimer, like always, I'm not a doctor. I've done a lot of study. I've been a vegan for 11 years. This was my experience doing a vegan pregnancy, raising a vegan baby, nursing a vegan baby. But of course, do your research and figure out what is right for you. I want to just start out with this statistic from two different places. They've come to the same conclusion, and it is from the American Dietetic Association as well as the Academy of Nutrition and Dietetics. They say a vegan diet is appropriate for all stages of the life cycle, including pregnancy and nursing. And it is the position of the Academy of Nutrition and Dietetic appropriately planned vegetarian, including vegan diets are healthful, nutritionally adequate, and may provide health benefits for the prevention and treatment of certain diseases. These diets are appropriate for all stages of the life cycle, including pregnancy, lactation, infancy, childhood, adolescence, older adulthood, and for athletes. That pretty much sums it all up. So that proves that being on a vegan diet while pregnant, nursing, and raising your child vegan are all totally healthy and acceptable ways to raise your children. On the flip side, there is a risk of consuming animal products, meat, dairy, seafood, while pregnant and nursing. Some of these risks include heavy metals in seafood and fish, saturated fat in meat, bacterial risk in consuming meat and dairy, nitrates and chemicals in processed meats, and growth hormone in cheese. So there's actually a lot more risk to having lots of animal products during your pregnancy and early stages of life for your baby. And I also want to add the best and first food you should feed your baby is breast milk. Now I understand complications arise, maybe the labor and the birth did not go as you planned and things came up and you weren't able to connect with your baby. There are studies that show that even though that is that crucial time of really bonding with your baby directly after birth and that first breastfeeding session, there are studies that show that if you can reclaim that little window of time, even if it's the next day, that you can really bond with your baby and get back to what you guys so desperately need, which is that comforting time at the breast as well as full nourishment for your baby. So don't dismay. If you have been led to believe that you should formula feed, I would say if you possibly can, try and get back to breastfeeding. Breast is best, but I totally understand there are some situations where that is not possible. So do your very best to reclaim that connection with your baby. Breastfeeding provides so many benefits to your baby, not only that bond and connection with mom and baby that is so special and so intense and so necessary for them to thrive. Breast milk enhances the immune system. It takes down the risk of allergies that they might have in the future, and it protects against all kinds of infection. It's like really like this miracle thing that babies are meant to have. What a surprise. That natural design really, really works in this case. Breast milk is also a really important thing to help our babies develop strong and healthy. Cow's milk is for cow babies. Breast milk is for human babies. According to the World Health Organization, they recommend exclusive breastfeeding at least for the first 6 months, and then continued breastfeeding combined with solid foods for 2 years or as long as the mother and baby desire. So that's gonna be different for every single baby. And just as an example, I breastfed, I'm still breastfeeding, but I breastfed exclusively all the way to like 7 or 8 months. And when Eli was showing an interest in reaching out and grabbing for solid foods, then I would give him a bite, but it was mostly for play. Even that whole first year, anytime he wanted to try a solid food, it was more for play. Breast was still providing 95 to almost 99% of all the nutrients he got, and he was thriving from that. I've had some questions asking how long I will breastfeed or if I've stopped breastfeeding. I'm still breastfeeding. He is 1.5 years right now, and my plan is to continue to breastfeed until he self-regulates or self-weans off the breast. Right now, that is so not even an option. He's just breast obsessed. He wants booby all the time, but he does really enjoy solid foods as well. When we transitioned over to solid foods, I did baby-led weaning, which don't let the name fool you. It's not like weaning away from the breast. It's just having them pick and choose what it is they want to eat rather than shoving a puree down their throat. they get to kind of develop that pincher grasp and decide and choose what it is that they want to eat at their own kind of time. It was a very non-stressful way to transition to eating more solid foods. I have a video on baby-led weaning, which I will link down below if you guys are interested in that, but I really recommend it. I feel like it was such an easy transition that he kind of made himself, but it gave him the space to be able to make that transition on his own. Eli's very first food, solid food, was avocado, followed by banana, and then it really was just fruits and vegetables that he could grab that were soft enough to chew without teeth, and implementing that along with breastfeeding. And now at 1.5 years, he's completely vegan, has been since birth, of course. He loves and enjoys fruits, vegetables. The way that I get really leafy green vegetables in for him is through smoothies and just chopping up really tiny. He loves brown rice, he loves beans, he loves homemade hummus, he loves pasta dishes. Anything with lots of flavor he really enjoys, but everything's really clean. I don't really cook with oil very often. He doesn't have any processed sugars or sweets, and any sweet that he could possibly want comes from a fruit. So between the breast milk and a healthy vegan diet, he is thriving. He actually has like muscle on him. He's got like a chest and shoulders and quads. It's really cute to see. He's not a really overweight baby, but he is not unhealthy or underweight in any sense. If you're unsure when you want to start feeding your baby solid vegan foods, there's a couple things that you can look for. You want to make sure that they're able to sit up unsupported, so around that 6-month mark when they begin to sit up, can they sit up by themselves? You want to make sure they're showing an interest in food. If they have no interest in food and it's past that 6-month mark, don't worry about it. I feel like the textbooks and all the things are there to guide you. Even this video, it's here as a guide, but it's not like you have to follow it to the T. You as a mother are going to have your intuition being the highest way to know what is best for you and your baby. So use that intuition, that mother's intuition, to decide if it's time for your baby to have solid foods. And if you choose to go vegan or not vegan, just make sure that your baby has a healthy variety of foods available containing fresh fruits, vegetables, whole grains, legumes, nuts, seeds. Broken record when I say in every diet, all of those things try and offer to your baby. And don't be discouraged if they are really loving something 1 week and then they don't want to touch it for like months. Keep trying every once in a while and it will come back to the diet. Eli loved avocado initially, like he couldn't get enough of it. He was, at one point, he could eat almost a small avocado all by himself. And then he didn't want it for probably like 3 or 4 months. And just now he's coming back and loving it again. Just keep cycling and keep offering, and you know, it's on their terms. A baby is wonderful because they have this internal regulating point. They know what nutrients they need, and so if you're offering a wide variety of things to eat, they'll choose the thing that their body actually needs to grow and thrive, and they'll also stop eating when they're full. I wish I had that still. I feel like I've destroyed that in my body. And then regarding vitamin D, this is always something that people go a little crazy about when they see that you're vegan or your baby is vegan. Just make sure that they're getting full exposure to sunlight, about 30 minutes a week. So I did diaper free with my baby, and when it is warm, I would bring him outside, even for 5 or 10 minutes a day, making sure to somehow get that 30 minutes throughout the week. It doesn't have to be 30 minutes on their baby white skin initially, but those vitamin D levels will start to grow in their body just by having exposure to sunlight without anything on. No chemicals, no sunscreen, things like that, just on exposed, dry, clean skin. Human milk contains a very low level of vitamin D, so they're gonna be getting it from that. If you live in a really cold climate where there's no sun at all, you may wanna look into supplementing for vitamin D. But I always think if you can get out in the sun with your baby, that is the absolute best way to get our vitamin D for children and for adults. Vitamin B12, of course, another thing that people's heads go exploding over in a vegan diet. You wanna make sure that you're supplementing with vitamin B12, and then your baby's gonna get enough B12 through your breast milk. Once they've stopped breastfeeding and they're completely eating on their own, you may want to start to supplement with a vitamin B supplement for kids. I haven't done this yet as Eli is still breastfeeding, and I supplement with vitamin B12, so I know that he's getting it through breast milk. But once he stops breastfeeding and I need to supplement him with B12, I'll make sure to let you guys know what brand I'm using. And another thing that I think is really interesting, with so many women choosing to start families later in life, that's what I chose as a performer. I wanted to take those years that I could perform and do it to the max, and then when I was done, I was on the older side of what is common for having a baby, but I was able to healthfully and successfully have a really uncomplicated pregnancy, a very peaceful, uncomplicated home birth, and a big attribution to that is having a plant-based diet for both myself and my husband. Adhering to a plant-based diet actually really helps with risk of having a child later in life, as well as increased fertility for both the man and the woman having the child. And whatever diet you do choose to adhere to through your pregnancy, I always want to remind you that your body is producing a human. So you want to make sure that you're getting adequate, if not more, levels of iron, folate, calcium, all those things that are really building the baby from the very beginning all the way throughout your pregnancy. You want to make sure you get enough of that. So I took an iron supplement. I'll link it down below if you're interested in it. It tastes disgusting, but my midwife recommended it to me. And I believe that it really helped. And I made sure to get in a variety of lots of nutrient-dense fresh fruits and vegetables, as well as grains, legumes, all the things I say all the time, because it's really important to have that variety to grow a baby inside of you. And my midwife also suggested that I take chloro-oxygen. I'll link that down below as well. And between the iron and the chloro-oxygen, I really believe those things help build my blood supply up so that I didn't lose too much blood after birth, and it just kind of kept me regulated and healthy. There is actually so much information on this topic, so I'm just going to end this video by saying it's really easy to eat plant-based while pregnant. It's really easy to feed your baby plant-based foods right from the beginning. They don't know any different. So if you feed them things that are going to build a healthy brain, body, nervous system, and create a really healthy system for them to thrive in through their life, they don't know any different. They're not gonna be like, oh, mom, I think I want some potato chips instead. They don't know what that is. That's a fake food. Give them real foods that their body can thrive on. Giving them real foods from the beginning helps lessen the risk of disease as they grow, helps lessen the risk of how many times you're going to be needing to help them through a cold or the sniffles. All this stuff gives us strength in our immunity to really fight disease and thrive in life. So why not give your child a chance to do that? We love them in so many ways. This is just another form of love, I feel anyway, that you can give your child and give your own body while you're creating a child. Okay, so let me know what your thoughts are on this topic. In one way, it's a touchy subject, but in the other way, if you think about it, every mom wants what's best for their baby, right? And feeding them real foods and feeding yourself real foods through pregnancy, how is that wrong? Who could disagree with that? Let me know what you think down below. If you like this video, please give it a like. That always helps me out. Subscribe to my channel, and I will see you in my next video. Thank you so much for watching. It's my honor to show up here every week and connect with like-minded people wanting to take their life to new levels of health and happiness. If you like what you saw, I encourage you to head over to veganmichele.com for more information and recipes. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye.